I don't know what's going on, but for some weird reason, a lot of extremely big companies have this weird obsession with self-sabotage and trying to make the worst decisions of all time, as if they're in some big competition on who could be worse. Now, our story begins on PC gaming. Now, let's be honest, the current state of PC gaming has not really been good recently, but I think one thing that more people are starting to realize is that basically, if you buy a game digitally, you don't really own it. You're basically spending $60 to have permission to go and play the game. But if something bad ended up happening to your account, everything is just gone. All the games you have don't exist anymore, and all the money that you spend just vanish, which could be extremely bad because some people have literally put thousands of dollars into one account. This is the main reason why a lot of people still like the idea of basically physical games still existed, which I do too. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not one of those people who absolutely hate the idea of digital games. I buy stuff digitally. A lot of other people do too, because let's be honest, it's just way more convenient. You don't have to get up, go to the store, or order it online, which means you're going to need to wait for it to come because we don't have teleportation yet, or we can't like email it to people yet. But if you buy something digitally, you can sit down, go on Steam, buy it immediately, and even if your internet is fast enough, don't even need to leave your seat. You can just sit down, wait for it to download, and go and play the game. But again, you don't really own it. But if you have something physically, you own the game forever until the end of time, as long as you still have the hardware to go and play it. Now, I know there's a lot of people walking around saying that, well, if you own a physical version of a game, you don't really own it, which is just absolutely wrong. Because let's say you have like a PS5 game, if you pick up the physical disc, put it in the PS5, the game downloads without internet because it's downloading the game from the disc on your console, and you can basically go and play the 1.0 version of the game basically whenever you want. And as long as you still have the disc and still have a working PS5, you basically own that forever. And I just think it's extremely bad that people are trying to get rid of physical media, because you should be able to buy whatever you want. I think a world where there's only physical versions of video games and digital versions don't exist is extremely bad. Just like how I think if there's a world where everything is digital only and there's basically no way for you to go and buy something physical, I think that's extremely bad. PC gaming is a current example of that. Discs are basically dead. Most PC cases don't even come with disk drive so you can go and play them anymore. And basically if you go to any store, none of them are releasing a physical version of a game. And that's really bad. And I'm here to show you an example why. Not so long ago, a lot of people ended up being jump scared with a brand new news, learning that if you have a Ubisoft account and you're not actively using it, Ubisoft is basically going to come over and just completely delete that account from existence. And that's extremely bad because all the games that you basically bought, spend money for, and let's be honest, most Ubisoft games are like $60. And if you're one of those people who for some weird reason buy the ultimate super cool digital deluxe edition, that could be around like $120. They're basically just going to go and take that away because you're just not using their absolutely terrible launcher, which is something that's extremely common. When it comes to most of these things that's not Steam, people only use these launchers to play very specific games. So if you're not really interested in any Ubisoft game, which I really don't blame you at all because most of them are absolutely garbage, and you haven't used it for a while, it's very easy for you to maybe never log on to launcher for like weeks, months, maybe even years. You may not use it. Even though that's the case, I still don't think that suddenly just gives them the right to delete your game from existence because you still spend money on it. And they're not giving you refunds. Like if they go and just randomly delete your account, they're not going to be like, hey man, I heard your account is gone, here's a refund. I don't think they're doing that. So basically everything you bought is just gone, which is absolutely crazy. Now I know Ubisoft is trying to use literally every excuse out of the book to go and defend this decision, but I just think something like this is just completely terrible. Just the fact of that is bad. I truly do believe if you buy something digitally, you should be able to keep it until the end of time, or as long as your account still exists. The only time I'm really fine with banning is if you're like a cheater. Let's say you're playing any single multiplayer game and you decide to go and like install cheats and have like wall hacks or something and you get caught, then you get banned. I'm 100% fine with that. I'm pretty sure most people people don't have a big deal with that because you're an absolute loser. Like, why are you cheating on a video game? It's not just suddenly going to make you good. So if you do that and you get caught, fine. But you just, oh, you haven't been active for a certain period of time, so you need to get out of here. It's absolutely dumb. Now, there are so much reasons why this decision is bad. One is this is literally just going to encourage more people to sail the seven seas, which is something that you don't want at all. I'm pretty sure companies are already losing so much money from people doing that. They probably don't want to lose more. And with people seeing this, basically realizing that you just don't own your digital games anymore, they are most likely to get ready to go and set sail, which just isn't good for the long term for the company. That's something that absolutely no one wants. Or it's just going to make people not buy stuff from your browser anymore. No one is basically going to use Uplay, which I think it's what it's called, if you can clearly tell. I don't have it. I don't even play Ubisoft games. Most of them are absolutely terrible. I just like to pretend that whole company just doesn't exist. They made good games back then, like 10 years ago, when no one really cared that much. No one is basically going to trust your launcher anymore, and no one is going to want to give you money, because then they're going to know if I just suddenly out of nowhere is not playing the game anymore, well, I'm just going to lose everything I buy, so it's just going to make more people stay away from your launcher. This just isn't good. It's just a bad decision for the long term, and it's just going to make Ubisoft lose more money. Now, I don't know if they're suddenly out of nowhere going to fix this decision. I wouldn't be surprised at all if a lot of people keep on coming after them and they're like, hey man, this is dumb, and then they completely fold and decide that, yeah, we realized we were doing a big act of cringe and we're not going to go and do this anymore. But this is a company, especially a modern one, and they just absolutely love the idea of making terrible ideas. Like, I don't know what's going on at this point. It's kind of getting really scared. So I wouldn't be shocked if this decision just keeps on going. But it's just something extremely bad. I don't know how stuff like this is able to slide. It's just absolutely terrible. We truly do live in an extremely goofy world. But anyway, I hope this encouraged people to not continue with the dumb mindset that physical media needs to go away. And I hope this makes people realize how bad an all digital world is. I wish people could just be normal and realize that both of these things can coexist, okay? You can buy stuff digitally and have fun, and you can also buy stuff physically. The option should be there. Anyway, I'm just repeating myself at this point. My name is Lua. You have a good day or night. See ya.